Good morning, everyone. My name is Susie,
And I'm Gabby.
and we're health educators with Tarzana Treatment Centers. Today, we're going to be talking to you guys about alcohol.
So today we're going to go over how it affects the body, some drinking basics, and the Good Samaritan law. So first we want to talk about some negative effects of alcohol. Alcohol use can lead to poor academic and job performance, especially if you're showing up while intoxicated. It impacts both your mind and body. It can also lead to arrests and DUIs if you drive while drunk. It is extremely dangerous to drive under the influence. You can pose a danger to yourself and others on the road. You can get your license revoked and have your car impounded. It can also lead to relationship issues between friends and family. When people use alcohol to cope, it can lead to dependence and addiction. People may become irritable and lash out at the people that they love and care about. So how does alcohol affect the body? Alcohol is a depressant, which means it slows down the function of the central nervous system, which is your brain and spinal cord. Alcohol is absorbed into the bloodstream, which controls virtually all of your body's functions. It can alter a person's perceptions, so some people may experience blurry vision, they may have trouble hearing. It can also impact your motor skills, so that's why people have trouble walking or maybe stumbling around when they're very drunk. It can also change a person's emotions. Some people become very angry and belligerent when they're drunk. Others get really sad and may cry more easily. And some people report feeling happy or giggly when they're drunk. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. So how else does alcohol affect others differently? There's some factors that we need to consider, like size and weight. So that's going to be a person's sex, their body mass, and their height. We also need to consider their health. Is this person healthy? Are there other substances being used? What is their tolerance? How often do they drink? And the strength of the drink. So the type of alcohol being consumed and how much of it. In this example here, we have Jane and John. They're both going to drink 2 margaritas, which contain 2 shots of 80 proof liquor, so something like vodka or tequila. Jane is 5'1", 130 pounds. She is a casual drinker and athletic. John is 5'11" and weighs 200 pounds. He is a heavy drinker and uses drugs recreationally. Raise your hand if you think Jane will be more impacted by the alcohol. Now raise your hand if you think John will be more impacted. To find our answer, we can look at this chart here, which is the blood alcohol concentration chart. This measures the alcohol in your bloodstream. So in our example with Jane and John, Jane is a female and she had 2 drinks. So if we go and look at her weight, which was 130 pounds, she would have a blood alcohol concentration of about 0.10 and would be considered legally intoxicated in that red zone that you see. For John, we would look at his weight of 200 pounds and see that his blood alcohol concentration is only 0.06. The legal limit is 0.08, so he would be below that. However, if you are under the age of 21, you cannot have any alcohol in your system while driving. It's also important to note that John's driving skills would still be impaired, even if he isn't legally intoxicated. As the chart states, the only safe driving limit is 0.
All right, thank you for that, Gabby. So now that we've talked about concentration of alcohol in the bloodstream, it's time to look at what a standard drink size looks like. So just as a general rule, it takes about 1 hour for the body to process a standard drink of alcohol, and depending on the type of liquor, it's going to contain a different concentration of alcohol. For example, a cup of whiskey is not going to be the same as a cup of beer. So these are the sizes that would amount to one standard drink size. We have 12 ounces for a beer, 12 ounces for a wine cooler, 5 ounces of wine, and 1.5 ounces of 80 proof liquor, which is whiskey, vodka, tequila. Also to note, 1.5 ounces is the size of a shot glass, and 8.5 ounces of malt liquor. Remember though, some mixed drinks contain different types of alcohol at the same time. So a Long Island iced tea is equivalent to having about 4 or 5 drinks, which means that it's going to take 4 or 5 hours for it to process out of the bloodstream. So how do you sober up? We want you guys to shout out things that you've heard, things that you might think would work to help sober a person up now. So we hear things like cold showers, eating bread, or drinking water can help sober you up, but these are actually all myths. If you said sleep or time, you would be correct. Once alcohol has been processed by the body, it's in the bloodstream. So these methods don't work to sober you up. The only thing that will work is time. All right, so what is alcohol poisoning? When someone has had too much alcohol in their bloodstream, they can start to experience serious side effects like vomiting, slow or irregular breathing, which can cause the heart to stop, seizures, and passing out. If someone you're with passes out from too much alcohol consumption, it's important to lay them on their side in case they throw up, so the vomit can exit out instead of back in, causing them to choke. When someone is passed out, it's important that you don't try to wake them up by shaking them or slapping them in the face. What you can try to do is take your knuckles, push it against the sternum of their rib cage, so right in the middle of their chest. This is incredibly painful, so it can actually jolt someone awake from that sensation. But if you notice these signs and they're still not responding to you, it's really important that you get them some medical attention. So let's say you're in this situation and you're afraid to call for medical attention or worried about getting in trouble. We want you to know about California's Good Samaritan laws. This law will protect you from getting into legal trouble for underage drinking while trying to get help for someone who is experiencing a medical emergency. This protection is only going to work if you follow all three of these steps. So call 911 to report someone needing medical assistance for alcohol consumption. Make a report either in person or over the phone. Stay on the scene with the intoxicated person, cooperate with all the officials, and stay there until medical assistance arrives. All right, that's all we have for today. Thank you for listening to our presentation. We hope you can take what we've discussed and make some safe decisions in your life. At lunch, we're going to be on campus with an activity if you're interested in joining us. We have goggles that you can try on to simulate how your vision is affected when under the influence of alcohol. And we also have some challenges that you can try with them on your face. So we'll be giving out raffle tickets to those who participate. And yeah, thank you. We will see you later.